They can't hear you. No, they can't hear you. They hear me
All
on the
right.
podcast,
Okay.
but they
Okay.
hear you.
Okay. I see. My mic was muted. My mic was muted. I repeat, my mic was muted. All right, boys and girls, we have returned. We have returned with another RPG Maker. I believe this is MV game.
Yes.
Princesses Don't Need Saving by the one and only Lobelin. This game was chosen on the Rarely Typical Player podcast wheel, where it was I believe the developer themselves requested us to play this game. So congratulations, developer, for winning the last man standing in the wheel. So before we get on today's game, you guys know who I am, D757 Dartman for D757 Gaming, and I have my co-host right here with me, the resident German, Simple Gaming.
Yo.
Alright, so before we get into this, I'm having little technical difficulties with the music, with the video. I'm trying to pause the video, but it has a mind of its own. Okay, let me reverse it. Okay, it has a mind of its own. Alright, so just like every podcast that we have, we're going to talk about the game entirely. We're going to talk about the story. We're going to talk about some of the system, the mechanics, and here and there and stuff like that. So one thing that stands out to me is the title screen. As you can see on the title screen, we have custom art. So this goes to show that either the developer themselves are an artist, or they commission somebody to create this title screen. And you rarely see this in RPG Maker. A lot of times when you play a game that's either a first time project, you see the default title screen, the wallpapers that you get from the engine. So right off the back, this is a pleasant surprise to see something like this. Now, gameplay, story wise, is the title screen, which looks interesting. You can definitely tell there's two silhouettes, two maybe children. It's hard to make out. Well, one is easily make out to be a girl. The other one, it can be a girl or a boy. I'm not really too sure. But princesses, it kind of gives us away that they are two girls in the title screen. Not sure. What did you think about seeing the title screen for the first time yourself, Harlequin? If you would like to.
Not really much actually. Like I'm not really big into the title screens. Like if it looks nice, it looks nice. Like it's title screens is more like it's kind of like music, right? If it works, it works. It only stands out if it's bad. Right?
Yeah.
If it's a bad title screen, it stands out and it gives you this weird, what the heck am I looking at? But if it works, it just works, right?
Yeah.
I've seen it in the credits. The logo with the title screen is made by Kuro, apparently.
Kuro Honest.
Yeah. Yes, that's him. He made the title text, I believe, like the Princesses Don't Need Saving, the logo thing.
Yeah.
Which is a cool design with the line. Like it's a underline for the princesses and the don't need saving. Like it's a cool design. The little crown above the eye is a little weird though. Like it doesn't really belong there.
Is that what that is? A
It's a
crown,
little. It's not a crown. It's the other thing.
like a tiara.
Yeah, it's a tiara or a
Oh
diadem or
wow!
whatever you call it.
I didn't even notice that. I did
Yeah.
not even notice that. I actually
Yep,
thought.
it's too small, and it doesn't replace the point on the eye either. So I don't know what it does there. It's just out of place a little bit.
Okay. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, see, you heckin' blind, man.
I mean, you the one with the glasses, the quadruple focals.
Yeah,
You got the
quadruple focus. Okay. Is that even a word?
You got the glasses that will make a blind man see. I'm joking. Okay. I wear glasses. I can't joke somebody that's wearing glasses and I got glasses on my face. So we about to get into the meat and potatoes in this game, guys, and like always, y'all sit back, relax, enjoy the show, and like everything that we say in this podcast, you know, we give our own opinion, our own interpretation, what we think about the game. It doesn't necessarily say the game is a bad game. So
he just trying to warn you all because because me always.
yeah, you gotta.
So before we even start,
Okay.
I noticed, maybe I missed it, but there's no WASD controls.
Oh, come on, man.
It's the default options menu.
It's okay.
No, it's not okay. Because in the credits I saw they're using the controller config plugin from Yanfly, but not the keyboard config, which is weird. Like, if you're using one, why not use the other as well?
Because it is 2024. Nobody has time to play with a keyboard anymore.
Everybody play with a keyboard, man.
So I'm just saying,
every gamer worth their salt is playing with a keyboard. Everyone else is just a console peasant.
Okay.
I mean, I was just, it was just weird for me because I saw in the credits it says gamepad config plugin from Yanfly, and I was like, why not use the keyboard config from Yanfly too? Like, if you're using one, why not also use the other?
Yeah.
Right? It's a little bit weird. That's why I'm bringing it up, is because I mean I wasn't expecting it, but if they are clearly aware of a config plugin, so why not use both of them and give like this level of accessibility to your player?
All right, developer, you heard that now. You heard that. You need to add WAS controls because you need
WASD controls is Yanfly, like the minimum requirement for that is like Yanfly's keyboard config plugin. It's like if you got the Yanfly plugins anyway, it's there. Like, it's in the package somewhere.
All right. So all right, we about to get into the meats and potatoes of this podcast, and in all fairness, I started last week, you know, giving my interpretation of the game's story, because that's how we start the podcast off, right? We give our own interpretation of what we think about the story, and maybe, you know, how the developer can probably improve of it. So since I started first last time, it is Simple Gaming's
your game pick, so of course
it is the Simple Gaming's turn.
I actually got some feedback for the podcast. We're apparently taking way too long to get into the meat and potatoes, and the whole story bit is kind of unwelcome for some, apparently.
Okay.
So maybe we should hurry that along a bit. I don't freaking know. The story in this game, I have no idea. It's completely weird. Like, you're starting off, you're playing as a princess, or a sister princess. Like, there's two, I think. And you start out at a tent, and then you're making your way to the castle for for some reason. It's not really explained. Like it starts out with she's looking for a blanket, I think. Like it's hard to make out who's actually talking because they do use these the speech bubble type plugin, but it's not consistently used, and there's not really any name boxes either, so I'm never really sure who's actually talking. I believe she's going out looking for a blanket and running away from this shadow, but I have no idea.
Alright, so a quick thing, you could tell who's talking by the color
of the text box. I tried that too, but it's really...
The sister got yellow hair, so her text box is yellow. And of course, the MC wears a pink dress, so their text is pink.
But it's not always pink. It depends on what you got equipped too. And I found an armor, so it's no longer pink. It's like, I'm not sure. So, looking at the video, apparently the box is yellow, so maybe the big sister is looking for a blanket. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
The character you're playing is trying to running away from that shadow.
Mm-hmm.
Back into the castle, I believe. But like story-wise, there is no story really. Like that's all there is in the demo. It's like there's no premise or world-ending threat or anything that's going on. It's just you're a kid princess and you're on a weird journey or something.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure.
So that's what you...
Maybe, yeah, I also, like, I finished the demo, I believe. Like, I got to the credit scene, so that's all the story I understood. Maybe you know more, or I don't know.
I guess I could give it a shot. Starting off when the older sister was telling the story that they used to be a princess a long time ago. There was two different kingdoms, the Ottoman Empire and the Mizul Empire. I think the Ottoman Empire was the good kingdom, and the Mizul Empire was like the bad kingdom. But
I don't know. I didn't get any good or bad vibes from either of them, I believe.
I believe they ended up running away. Like running because they said their father, who's the king, was kind of harsh on them and stuff like that. So they ended up running away.
Oh.
So it feels like in the beginning, like with the two sisters talking, they I guess they're living in the woods somewhere. They're kind of on their own. And one of them, the blonde hair one asked, are you sleepy? Stuff like that. So she was like, well, let me go prepare the bed and stuff, get the blanket. So as you guys could see, a shadow creature was following, I guess they was lurking. So the shadow creature knew exactly who they were. So Lilin, who is the MC, the girl with the pink dress, she ended up running away. She ends up running away until she run into, the cave. She meets this old guy, who apparently lost his wand. He need his scepter back because he can't do any magic. So I can't agree. It is kind of strange. Some of the events that's happening in the game. Like, you're running away from the shadow creature. Now you're in the cave helping this old guy out to retrieve his wand. So, weird character number one. You know, he's a weird character. You know, so you help him with his mission. Well, you meet another character when you fall down the hole. You meet another character who, you know, who's basically trapped or live inside the cave, and basically is a recluse, doesn't really know anybody, and he's surprised to see you. So he's very happy to see you, and he happily gives you the cane to give back to the old guy. So you get the cane back to the old guy. You cross. You go out the cave. You know, matter of fact, he decides to accompany you. So, and this is where the first mechanics in the game comes to. You know, with the puzzles. You know, with the falling rocks. Remember the part with the falling rocks?
Oh yeah, right. He comes back and with the bat,
yeah.
It's just a whole bunch of weird stuff. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, this is you're just explaining the game at this point. It's not that's not the story. Like, what is the premise of this story? What's happening? Because what you're doing right now is just what's happening in the game, but what's the story?
Yeah, I'm explaining the gameplay basically, right?
Exactly.
That's what I'm doing.
What happens, what you're doing in the game, like, but that's not the story.
Ah, come on, man! Don't do me like that. Don't do me like that.
It's weird, man. It's just weird. I was hoping maybe you saw something between the lines where I may have missed or something. I don't know. It's like, story-wise, it's just a whole bunch of stuff that happens that is like weird. It's like a kid's dream almost. Like you're running away and you're in a cave with a weird red-coated guy with a weird old dude, and you're jumping down a hole and you meet like some weird, like, I don't know, round creature and whatnot, and then you meet the shadow, and all of a sudden you're in a dream world, and then you swap character and you're now some kind of fairy flying around. Like, there's no coherent like story that's happening. It's just one weird thing after another, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know what the point of all is, right? Like, what's the premise here? What's the goal? Like, why are we doing any of this?
You're dreaming and you're sleeping, not knowing you're a princess.
I mean, guess. You know you're a princess. The sister explains it to you, right? If your sister was a princess, then so are you.
Yeah, but you don't remember the lifestyle of being a princess.
Yeah, but does it matter? Like, what's the...
So maybe the dream, this evil thing...
We do remember, because if you look at the game, we are going back to the castle.
Yeah.
Right? So we do know we're a princess, and we are going back to the castle.
Yeah.
So it's not like we don't remember. We do.
But if we're in a dream...
But are we? What makes you think we are?
Because you clearly see her falling asleep.
Yeah, but she also wakes up, right? And
but you wakes up
jumping off the cliff here in this stream, and then you're going on about your day back to the castle.
Is that where they wake up from, in the castle, or?
You talk to this shadow figure like in the video right now.
Yeah, I'm talking about like at the end though. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you wake up. Like right outside the cave where you fell asleep. You wake up and then she moves on, and then there's this weird scene with the fairy, and then you're in the castle.
Yeah, because the fair, yeah, in your room, and they said she doesn't know how to read yet. If you try to get a book, and matter of fact, you get the fish from the room too to give it to the cat. So I think you're still in the dream then.
Maybe this whole game is a dream. I don't fucking know, but it doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't make any sense to you, huh?
Yeah, nothing does in this game. Like, what are we even doing? Like, if we're runaways, and that's because we're in the tent with the sister because we ran away from home, maybe, then why are we going back to the castle? Like, what's the, like, I understand running away from the shadow, maybe, but why are we running into a cave, and why are we not afraid of an old red dude and a weird round creature, and we're fighting, and we are capable of magic? Like, why are we running away from the shadow? If I can cast Fireball, I'm gonna fucking ignite that motherfucker, right? But we're running away, and I don't know. Like, why are we leaving our sister behind too? Like, if you're going back to the castle for whatever reason, why are we leaving the sister behind?
Because you got chased by that shadow creature.
But we're literally in front of the tent. We could have called out to her and said to her, look, there's this weird shadow creature that's been following me since forever, or I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And took her with us, or maybe the sister told us she would protect us. So if I was a kid, my first thought would be hide behind the sister and let the sister protect me, and not run away and leave the sister behind. I don't know about you, but as a kid, my first reaction would not be run off into the wilds alone as a kid.
I can see where you're coming from. You know, it's
So,
like you got these different events, and they're like kind of jumping all over the place.
Yeah, it's all over the place, and it doesn't make any sense. Like, why is any of this happening to us even? Like, huh?
Okay.
So I don't know what they're going for here. Like, the things that happened, the events and the mini game itself, they seemed fine. I didn't see anything broken or whatever. I think they could be improved, but from like a story or gameplay perspective, I have no idea what the fuck is happening, or why are we doing any of this. It's just weird to me. This is like when a kid tries to tell you a story, right? And they're just mumbling, like they're mumbling all over the place, like this happened and that happened and blah 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 blah, like, you know, like that. That's how this game is. It's just a whole bunch of things happening, and none of it makes any sense.
So you can't grasp anything what's going on. What about the shadow creature, which you can clearly see is in the pub too, unless that's somebody that's like them.
I don't know. Who knows, right? Like, it looks the same, but it could be somebody else too. Who knows? I don't know. Right? And why is the Red Hood dude also there? Nobody knows.
So, in a way, this game feels like it's not really a story. Like,
it's like when a kid tries to tell you something. I swear to God. Like when you're talking to your kids and they're like super hyped, right? And then they're excited and whatnot, and they're trying to tell you something, and they just jump all over the place with their telling, right? they're just jumping from A to C to B to D, and none of it makes any sense because they're talking so fast and they tell everything out of order and whatnot. Like, the game is just like that. It's just you start out and then this happens and that happens and now you're playing a different character and then there's also that other character and this happened and now you're flying and now you're back in the castle and there's a cat and there's a prisoner and then the demo ends.
Now who's the cat?
Huh?
Who's the cat?
I don't know. I didn't talk to the cat.
You didn't get a cat to fish?
No, I didn't even talk to her.
Oh wow. You gotta talk to the cats. You gotta talk to cats.
I went straight to the prison and then I got an armor suit.
Yeah.
Which is another weird thing. Like, why is there even combat in this game? It feels so out of place. Didn't need to be there. Like you're fighting the bat and you're fighting the blue guy once and that's it. Like why is it there? Because eventually maybe you going to get more characters and turn-based going to make sense. I don't think so, man. I don't know. This game doesn't. It's not like a regular like RPG where you have a story and you know you got your heroes party and whatnot. It doesn't seem that way to me. So it's kind of like one of those arcade mini games type game. Cause here we got dodge the boulders. Then we got match the colors on the platform. You know, like when you walk on the bridge, the different. I just skipped that. Oh, you could skip that? Yeah, it says like step on the tiles and whatnot. You're getting a special reward, but I don't care. Oh, okay. I thought that was right past that. Yeah, you get the I think you get the mage costume. You could be the old man. Okay, yeah, I didn't know you could skip that. Why would I care, right? Like, I don't know anything about this game yet, or the characters or anything. So why would I care for a special reward? Like, huh? You would. I mean, I think it's pretty cool that you know you change your attire, your visual attire. Nice. When you put on new equipment, I think that's cool. But I do agree that the story isn't as strong as it should be to explain why the princesses don't need saving. I can't agree. Saving for? Maybe from the Mizul Empire. Yeah, but the game doesn't get anywhere close to that. Like, yeah. Huh? There's nothing that ever indicates that we're ever in any danger. And the you know the sprite change with the outfits is nice, but it's pointless. What do you mean it's pointless? What's the point of it? Like, why do I have these outfits? What's it for? What's the purpose? Like, there's not really any combat going on, right? There's a bat and one other fight. So it's not like I'm trying to optimize my gear because this is not a strategic heavy game. Clearly not. There is no strategy. You can either attack or you can cast fireball. That's it. There is a strategy with the armor guy though. Yeah, you cast fireball whenever it's doing the defense, but that's it. And it stops him from doing his ultimate attack because it says that he's. See any of that? It says that he's sweating. He's sweating in the armor. He can't swing. Well, that's just a random chance, I think. No, that's actually strategy. No. Yes. That's what it did the first time. Like the first time it tried to use it, it said it was too hot. Like yeah. If you do fireball on him. That's when it says it. Oh, really? Then I triggered it by accident and never again, I guess. I think it is broken, though, because he was burning
and he actually did get a swing on me while he was burning. I think you gotta have him burning at a certain turn for him to not do it. Yeah, I did experience that. But yeah, that's the strategy of that fight. And with this prisoner, when he summons his minions, I think.
Yeah, that was bugged out for me because I ignored the minions. I just let them live.
Yeah.
So the prisoner died, and then it had all these weird messages from like he's raging or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he was already dead.
Yeah. Yep. That same thing. I ignored the 2 eyeballs, and to say he was raging while he was dead. So I thought it was a refight. Yeah. I was like, okay, we about to go again.
Yeah, I thought so too. Like I was okay, he's enraged now. So I was thinking like, okay, phase 2, but nah, it's just a bug.
But we ain't getting no experience points though from that fight.
Do we ever?
Yeah, you level up when you fight the bats. After the first fight, you level up.
I don't know. I didn't even pay attention to.
But you don't gain no.
Happened.
But you don't gain no ability. And I can't say this. I am going to say this, developer. I am going to tell you this. When you create a game or try to give game a starting standpoint, right? You got to explain the MC, right? So if we're supposed to be a little girl, I'm pretty sure we're probably 5 years old in this game. You know, because
sounds like that from the dialogue. Like she sounds very young. So like
yeah, she's very young. 6. So we already know how to fight. We already know how to do healing magic. We already know how to do fire. So you got to ask yourself this question as a player: how did I learn these abilities? What did my sister teach me magic? What's my background story of learning these kind of abilities? Now, if the mage taught me how to cast fire, that would make sense.
But they're not talking to each other like they know each other.
Exactly. So that's
out of the question.
Either the sister already knew those abilities and taught us, or we just have the app for learning abilities like that and casting ability like is our gift from God.
Some innate affinity to magic, right? But it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
if you're already combat capable, why are we running away from our stalker? Why are we not facing him? Doesn't make any sense, right? But we're not afraid to jumping into a hole which is so deep you can't even see the bottom. We're not afraid of some alien, weird-looking round creature. We're not afraid of some creepy dude living in a cave and nothing. We're not afraid of anything. Like, we're having this... kids are not afraid of anything, really, right? They're more curious than afraid. But, on the other hand, we're afraid of the shadow creature for some reason.
But check this out, though. It's a dream.
Yeah, could be, could not be. It's not explained.
I'm just saying, like,
no hint.
I'm just saying, you're still in the dream, and you could have those abilities in the dream. Because, like here, this is what I would have done, developer. This is what I would have done if this was my game. I would have done this. Each outfit gives you different skills.
Yeah, that would have been cool because the outfits, it's cool that it changes, but is useless. Like it's just a visual thing. Like who gives a shit?
So
if they had abilities, that would be cool because now the outfits have meaning.
Yeah, if I got the Sage outfit, which was required for me to do that puzzle, then it would have made sense that I would have had, the fire spell, and it would have made this boss easier because I now have the ability to prevent him from using his ultimate attack and keep me from wasting potions. That would have made sense.
Why did you use a potion anyway? I used one potion in this game.
Because I used the potion because I got hit with a critical. I was low on HP. Either use the potion or freaking pass away.
Nah.
What do you mean?
There's this footage, by the way, is your footage.
Yeah.
Why did I even record it?
I told you already that it was already done.
No, you didn't.
What you mean?
You just said you was supposed. You just told me I was supposed to, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna record it. I sent it over.
Yeah,
I've been trying to reach you since yesterday, but this guy not responding to anything.
This been uploaded and everything since God knows when. Recording's already done.
Yeah. I was asking like
we need to hire Mr. Cychronic back and everything would have been done. But anyway,
this is D7's footage though. Like this is not my playthrough. My playthrough would have already been done. It took me like, I don't know, not even 20 minutes to finish the game.
This is actually the new version. I downloaded this morning and played it this morning, uploaded it to the page. So this is the actual newer. This is the new one. This is a fresh download from your itch page. Yeah. It's not the one I played 11 months ago. I believe 11 months ago, something like that.
So I was using just one potion because I was trying to spam attack on the bat. Because I was trying to see how well designed or balanced the combat is, how long I could get away with just spam and attack, and that doesn't work with the bat obviously because it's flying up.
Mm-hmm.
So I was using one potion there, but never again, pretty much.
Oh yeah,
the healing spell, and that's about it.
Yeah, the bat thing. He flew up. Yep.
Yeah. So I was playing around with that if I could hit it anyway, like if it was programmed right and stuff like that. But yeah, that's the only time I used the potion or even like opened the menu aside from equipping the armor outfit.
Now,
and that's it.
Now, good thing about this developer, it seems like you know how you got a lot of custom stuff in this game, so you're definitely ahead in terms of creating uniqueness and characters that that are memorable, stuff like that.
I don't know about that.
What you mean? Like Lobby, like Lilin? Look how she look and how they walk side to side. They're goofy characters.
The sprites don't fit.
Yeah, I agree. The sprites don't fit the map style. I agree.
Fit, I agree. Make a tile set that looks the same, or use other sprites.
I mean, you can only work with what you got. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying. I'm just speaking. But we gotta agree. We gotta agree on this though. We gotta agree. The developer is ahead of the standard RPG developer.
Nah.
What do you mean nah? That uses regular RTP?
Nah. It's like it's not ahead. Like how is it ahead? It's using
when I mean ahead. When I mean ahead,
like,
how many RPG Maker games you gonna play that has custom characters?
I mean, a lot of them do.
But how
Like,
many?
just because
Be
you made
honest.
some.
Be honest.
Just because you made some jank sprites that don't even have like a left or right version, it doesn't put you ahead.
I'm not saying better. I'm saying they're technically ahead because they have it in their mindset to create custom characters.
No, if it's not better than the default, it's not ahead.
I disagree.
Yeah. Well, we can disagree on something.
I disagree with that because you got custom characters that no one can copy. They're weird looking characters, but it's their characters. That's a step. Given how old they are. How many? I'm going to say Lobby Lynn is probably under 16.
Could be, yeah.
You don't really you got grown men in their 40s, 30s, 40s, 50s, even 60s that's using RPG Maker and don't know a lick about creating their own characters.
Yeah. So what does that have to do with anything?
They have that mindset and that drive to create custom assets for their game. This is kind of like a learning process, just like you see the game. It's a learning process for the developer. Now, if you see the developer, they're always asking questions and about the functionality of the engine. What is this? How they can improve this? Is all over the Discord, is all over the records. There's proof that they're kind of a newbie in RPG Maker, you know, in the community and game design. But for what they have, they're doing a good job. They just need to work on hooking the player with a solid story and not just being all over the place.
None of it matters.
What do you mean none of it matters? This is the point.
We're not some kind of developer friend. We're reviewing a game as the players. I don't give a shit if they're a newbie or not.
We're still.
I just want a good time.
We're still reviewing the game, but we're giving feedback too.
Yeah.
On how they can improve the game.
Exactly, and how does it matter if they're a newbie or not?
It matters a lot because if the chat they said how do you add WAS controls? Right? So in their mind, they're thinking all they know is controller. They never cross, keyboard never really crossed their mind because this generation mainly is on, next gen consoles and used to controllers. So they're asking questions, how do you do this and how do you do that within the engine? Because they don't really know.
That's fine, but it doesn't matter if they're new or not. Like, the feedback is the same.
But the effort they are putting in to creating at least their own characters and sprites says a lot about the passion they have for creating games.
Why?
What do you mean? Why? They want to be different. They at least trying to stand out.
So a person like me who's not doing their own assets, who just buys the assets.
I never said that.
That's what you're implying.
I never said that.
That's what you're implying.
I never said that.
You can sneak your way out of that. That's what you're implying.
At the end of the day, and I always say this in my own streams, you want to at least have characters you can call your own. Why would
It doesn't matter if you made them or if you bought them.
I'm just saying, if you could make if you could make your own characters, that's the best. If you could make your own character, you could do your own art. Not only you saving money, but you can create a whole cast of characters that you could call your own.
I can only disagree on that.
Oh Lord, you cannot see it, my guy. It's common sense.
No, it's not. It's not. I don't give a shit. As the player, right? I don't care if you made the assets or if you bought the assets. They have to look nice. If they don't look nice, they're not good. Period.
I disagree. I disagree with what you've been saying in the past about the chibi characters and stuff. They be looking nice, but
nah, I don't think they do.
You don't think the chibi characters look nice?
Nah, I don't think they look nice. The older ones, like the XP, RTP, and that stuff look nice. The MV and MZ sprites, they don't look nice. Nah, not at all.
DJ, I agree with you, DJ. See, y'all misunderstanding what I'm trying to say. The developer has that ability to create their own characters. They definitely need to work on the story to give those characters meaning. How to improve? There's lots of room of improvement to make these characters look better. But given the fact that their knowledge where they're at, they may not know how to do all that. The sprites that they are creating could be just simple.
It doesn't matter.
What do you mean it doesn't matter?
If you bought this game, it doesn't matter to you as the player if they didn't know any better or not.
But I'm playing.
You just see sprites that don't look good.
Who said the sprites? Oh my god.
The sprites don't match the tile set form.
I agree. Right?
The style clashes. So how is this any better than if they went and bought sprites that looked the same art style? That would have been better.
Okay.
It's fine to make your own sprites, but like make your own tile sets too that match the style if you're already on it anyway. Right? Or get sprites that are the same art style as your tile set. Like make it look like a consistent world.
And that makes a whole lot of sense. I agree with you.
It's not inherently better to make your own sprites.
I never said it was better. I said they are ahead in a way. They are ahead.
But they're not.
They are ahead in terms of creating characters that are theirs. That's what I'm saying. What do you mean that? They're not using the generator to create characters. They are actually drawing the characters by hand, and nobody can actually copy that style that they created. That's all I'm saying. They can't.
A game that doesn't look right anymore. So is it really ahead? I don't know.
Stop looking at the game. Look at the characters.
No,
look at the characters.
Looking at the game. I don't give a crap.
You're a reviewer right now. You're a reviewer, and you're a critiquer, and you're a give feedbacker. That's what you are right now.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm doing.
But
in my opinion,
okay, go ahead.
In my opinion,
it's
better to make a game that looks consistent with its art style than making a game that's quote unquote unique but looks inconsistent.
Okay.
Right, the tiles that looks nice. The tiles they got here, they're nice. I like them.
Mm-hmm.
But the sprites, they don't look right. They look out of place.
I agree.
So in my opinion, if they used sprites that match the tile set art style, would have been better than what they're trying to do with their own little self-made sprites.
I agree with you. I agree. I'm not disagreeing with that.
They're not ahead of anybody because it doesn't look right.
I'm not talking about in terms of game.
In terms of what then?
And creating
What
their
else
own.
are we talking about here?
Creating their own characters. That's what I'm talking about.
But that doesn't matter if it's not consistent.
Oh my gosh.
Like, what's your own character worth in a game where they just look out of place and nothing else?
That could follow. If I'm not mistaken,
it's just a demo. It's not finished. Of course, it could follow, but we don't know. We don't judge
know.
what we see.
We don't know. But at the same time, I mean, you gotta. It looks pretty cool. You know, the little South Park looking sprites. You know, it looks pretty cool.
I'm not a fan. I would have preferred it if they had like regular sprites, to be honest.
Like the chibi sprites.
Yeah, or like any sprites really. They could have gone. They could have picked up Lowe's free sprites pack for all I care. That would have looked better and more consistent with the tile set too. Because the tile set has this comic look to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Lowe's free sprites would have been a better fit than what they made.
But nobody got money for. Oh,
Well,
you said the free sprites. Okay,
Yeah,
but that's not having their own character though. I mean that. Then you'll be looking like everybody in their mama else game with low sprites with those characters. So
yeah, I mean
they kind of you know wanted their own characters.
But you don't exchange quality for your own characters. If you can't achieve unique characters without detrimenting your game's looks, then don't do it.
So you're not impressed that a child created this game? You're not impressed?
I mean, it is what it is. It's a child's game, and that's exactly how it plays.
I asked you all that. I just asked a simple question. Are you not impressed that a child made this game? A simple yes or no.
This is not a simple question, though. Like,
it is a simple question.
Like, as a game, it doesn't do anything special.
Give me the passionate answer then. Give me a passionate answer.
All right. So as a game, it doesn't do anything special. Like,
okay.
It's not an impressively made game, right? There's no crazy engine bending sorcery going on here or anything. It's just an RPG Maker game. That's what it is. Anybody could have made this. Is it impressive that a child made it? I have no idea. I don't know if Lilin is even a child. We don't know.
Could be a grown person that's impersonating a child. I don't know.
Exactly. We don't fucking know. So as a game itself, it's not impressive.
So you won't play this game over Final Fantasy?
Nah, of course not. No, we're talking about you here.
You won't play this game over Epic Wings?
I won't play this game over anything, really. Like, I didn't find any bugs, but everything else, just the game doesn't make any sense to me at all. So I don't know. And there's nothing impressive going on. It doesn't look impressive. It doesn't play impressive.
You don't think the puzzles were pretty good, like the bullet hell thing?
I hate puzzles. I skipped the first puzzle, so I don't. The boulder puzzle is not really a puzzle. You have to stop exactly twice in the path, and the rest you can just walk through.
What about
That's not really a puzzle anyway.
What about the fairy puzzle?
Fairy puzzle was very frustrating because there was not a very well thought out pattern to the bullet hell.
Random stuff.
It's just fucking placed and they all shoot at the same time. It's not like there's a pattern where you can legit avoid being hit. It's not possible.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's not a well-made puzzle either. It's just you just have enough health to just tank it for some time. That's how it works. So it's not well made either. So no, the puzzles did not.
Ain't nothing well made to you. Ain't nothing well made to you. My goodness.
I'm judging this game as a player, right?
Yeah.
I do not care how old the developer is. I do not care how wealthy they are or not. I do not care about any of that. I'm just a player who picked up this game. I bought it on Steam or whatever, and I'm playing it. And I'm seeing, like, I'm playing through these puzzles, and I'm like, this is not well designed. It's a nifty little idea, but it's not well made.
So you would not release this as a demo?
No, I would not release this at all. It doesn't make any sense. It's just a whole bunch of ideas thrown in, and there's no story that ties it together. Like, what's the point of all this? What are we even doing here?
You're here to play a game, of course.
Yeah, but it doesn't make any sense. Like, we don't have any motivation for the princess. Like, or what is she even doing with her life? Or why is she in a tent? Why are we going back to the castle? Why are we now playing a fairy? Why are we now playing a weird, creepy red guy living in a cave followed by some basketball creature? Why is any of this happening?
You said a basketball creature?
Yeah, I don't know. It looks like a basketball to me.
I mean, you make a lot of sense, though. I mean, I can't. I'm not disagreeing with you. I definitely agree with you. Like, it needs more. It needs more meat to the game.
Yeah, it's like each individual part, like each of the. It's not that the creepy red guy is like a bad thing on its own. Like, it's okay. The basketball creature is not a bad thing either. Like the fairy puzzle with the bullet hell is not inherently bad either, but is all just so randomly thrown together that none of it makes any sense. Like, it needs this glue. Like, a story acts like a glue that puts all the gameplay parts together, and that's missing. Like, none of it makes any sense. It's just a whole bunch of nonsense thrown together in a game, and then demo end. And you're just left with like, huh? What's happening? What did I just witness here?
Okay, makes sense. DJ King says, sounds like the game needs saving. Just joking. I mean, we want you guys.
They're also using the diagonal plugin the wrong way. Like, you have to disable the. There is a parameter in the plugin that you have to disable, because otherwise, if you are moving diagonally down, you're walking over the ceiling tiles. You can see it in the footage too. Like, whenever you're walking diagonally downwards or upwards you're walking over the ceiling tile, and you gotta disable a parameter for that.
The developer would like to know, should we talk about the ambience? What you think about the ambience?
What ambience?
The ambience in the game.
Yeah, but what ambience? You didn't create an ambience. There's no. It's not like, oh, this is a creepy game, or this is a funny game, or like, there is no atmosphere, no ambience here. It's just weird looking sprites with weird looking characters and weird stuff happening. So the ambience, I guess, is weird. Don't know.
I think this is more of
music.
This is more of like, what do you call it? Like one of those. Like
I got the feeling they tried to be funny, but it's this kid humor.
It's like reading a fairy tale book.
No.
It is. It's kind of like reading a fairy tale book.
No, it's kind of like if a kid good. Tried to read a fairy tale book.
The music was pretty good. The music was pretty good, especially like going up here. You know how the tone and the sound changes. That was pretty cool. Then you go into the prisoner and you fight the prison. That was cool. That was dope. Don't really see that much in people's RPG games. I like that. You see how it just changed to, you know, there's a cell and there's a boss fight right here. Then you get a cool item when you defeat the boss. That's pretty dope. I like that.
Yeah, except the lighting was not a smooth transition. It was just right.
Yeah.
So again, it's not really well made. It's just a bunch of stuff that works, but it's not well made.
So people's wanting to know, who is this game targeted to?
I would assume it's like a kid's game. Like the humor that's in the game is very childlike, which is probably also why it didn't really land on me. Like I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was pretty cringe for the most part. Like when the shadow dude is on top of the tower and is going off like, "This is my tower," and then he goes like, "Oh, you can't probably hear me on top of the tower," so he's floating all the way down very slowly, and I'm sitting here like, get the fuck on with it. And then he's at the bottom, and then the princess is like, "You know, I could hear you." It's like this Bugs Bunny kind of humor, which I never found funny in all of my fucking life.
And I'm pretty sure a lot of developers going to put that in their game.
Oh my god!
After seeing this podcast,
if you put that in your game, I'm gonna refund your game.
Come on, man! You can't refund people products.
Hey, I'm refunding everything.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Man. Yeah, I would say like if there even is a target audience, it's probably kids. I don't see anybody else play this.
Yeah, I do agree. You know, I wish we knew why the princesses need saving, or why would they even...
Yeah, we don't even have a premise. Like, what's even going on with the princesses? Why do they not need saving, or why do they need saving, or why anything really in this game? Like, well, the question why anything is never answered in this demo for anything. And that's just weird. Like, it just makes a bad impression.
I don't know, but the developer did say it is going to have a final release. I don't know what they have planned for the game or whatnot, but I mean, I kind of was left off, you know, puzzled myself, but it has potential to be a good game. You know, got the puzzle, got the boulder puzzle, got the tile puzzle. I like the armor switch, you know, the dresses switch. I wish, you know, there were more reasons why I would want to change my appearance, even though some of the appearance may look worse than others. You know, I wish I had that option, maybe to keep my face in or just use the attributes from one. The only thing I really saw was the defense, like magic defense increase, or magic your regular defense decreases and stuff like that. That's all I really saw, but nothing to like really make me want to wear this outfit over the next, except for like visual appearances. That's the only thing. So yeah, it is definitely a learning experience, 1063. And the reason why I said that is, the actions of the developer. The developer, ask a lot of questions, about the engine. So it clearly shows that at one point this was their first project, but they do have other projects in the making that shows lots of improvement.
It does also play more like a experiment than a game. It's like the game feels like somebody went and just asked himself, like, how could I make a bullet hell mini game, right? That's how the game plays. Like, somebody tried to figure out, how can I make this? And then they made it, and then they went like, how could I make that? Right? That's how the game plays. Like, just some random bunch of stuff put together, where the developer asks himself, like, how could I make X?
But you gotta think about this though. It's a fairy that's flying and another wizard that's flying as well. So it's like two airplanes fighting each other. They're trying to shoot each other down, except only one has the advantage. That's how that is. You gotta look at it like that. You gotta look at the what.
I don't know what you're saying. Like, what?
It's airborne combat.
But it's not. It's not airborne combat.
Yeah.
Like, you can't even fight back. It's not even combat. Like, you're just dodging.
But you're a little fairy. What can you do? It makes sense.
A fairy's supposed to be magic, right?
It makes
some fireballs, but it doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't have to.
Lobbyland, I did see that feature because I did have the red dress on, the magician dress, when I went to the tower, and the guy reacted differently. He was like, I was supposed to have been waiting for a princess. He didn't know who I was. Until I actually had to reveal myself that I was the princess. So that's a cool feature to have,
If I had to give this game any advice to get into a good game direction, I'd actually say make something with the outfit. Like, make something like Mickey's Magical Journey. Like the Super Nintendo game.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Like that. And then it's a good idea, like, because that's a rare gameplay feature. Like, I've not seen this anywhere else, pretty much. And
Final
you already
Fantasy.
have the
Final Fantasy.
Okay, yeah, Final Fantasy does it with the sure, okay, but it's a cool feature, right? Like, having different outfits and some abilities going with those outfits. That would have been a cool and unique gameplay feature.
Yes, Lord.
But you scrap that in favor of what exactly? Like, what is this game? There's a bunch of random ass mini games. Like, you scrap something good in favor for nothing. Really.
Mini games are cool though.
Yeah, but you can have both. Like, if you had gameplay outfits, nobody says you can't have mini games. There was no reason to scrap that, right? But the mini games are not selling this game very good. Like, the mini games are nothing outstanding where I go like, oh man, I really enjoyed that mini game, I want to do that again. That's not happening. So if they had like actual like combat more than like 3 encounters and whatnot, and made it an actual RPG where I can change my outfits and have different abilities associated with them, that would have been a cool game. But what they have right now is not a cool game. What they have right now is like somebody just experimenting with the engine. That's what a game feels like.
That's deep. That's deep, developer. You're getting some good meats and potatoes. The outfits affects the mini games. For example, mage outfit lets you shoot the enemy with fire. The knight suit can activate his shield to become temporary immune to bullets.
Anything's possible. Like tying the outfits to the gameplay would be a good thing to make them matter, right? Because right now, okay, the sprite changes, but who gives a shit? Like it doesn't matter. It's just looks. And it's not like I can show off this new outfit I found to my friends because it's a super rare unlock and it's like an achievement. I can't show this to anyone. I can't brag about it because it's just some nobody's game, right? It's not like I play in an MMORPG here where I made an achievement that was super hard to get or anything. Like, so that part's not really a thing. It's just a sprite change and doesn't mean anything. It feels like a waste of time, right? Like fighting that prisoner boss was kind of meaningless because all I got from it was a sprite change that doesn't do anything. Is anticlimactic.
But so, it is part of the story. You need to equip it to get past that guard, correct? Or can you get past it without it?
I don't know. I haven't talked to the guard before that. I just went straight there. I already had the outfit when I fought the statue.
But did you equip it though?
Yeah, I just immediately equipped it.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
I figured why not, right? But it didn't feel like rewarding, right? It's not a reward for a boss that makes you feel good. It's just a thing that you did because that's what you're supposed to do. So if you want to keep going with like the culmination of mini games, like the game is just one mini game after another kind of thing. Yeah, tying the outfits to different stuff you can do with the mini games might be good, but also if you want to do that, it doesn't make much sense if you cannot repeat the mini games, right? Because if I have like let's say I have the armor, and the armor lets me activate a shield that makes me immune to the bullets. That's cool, but now I cannot try the mage outfit anymore because I'm already past the minigame. Right, so I don't know what it does. That makes sense.
You can get past without the outfit, but the statue reacts differently. It has interaction based on the outfit.
Yeah, so it's probably just dialogue then.
Make it a harder fight. If you don't have the outfit, you are considered a outsider or an intruder. So the means of the knight, he wants to kill you. So he's going to be harder. But when you do have the outfit on, he said he must test your strength to find you worthy. So technically you're not fighting to the death, but you're fighting the toughness of someone else. So it's two different intentions there. Like you're sparring with one and you're trying to kill one. So maybe make the fights different, maybe harder, maybe unwinnable if you don't have the outfit.
I would structure the entire game differently, I think.
Like change the story, change everything.
I just probably wouldn't even have a story. Like if you want to go with that with that idea of having like a whole bunch of mini games, I would just forego the story entirely and just set it up as you're just a kid princess, and you're, I don't know, playing in your fucking room, or you're sleeping and dreaming, like something like that. And then you can just let your player choose whatever mini game they'd like to play, and depending on how they do, they could potentially like unlock different outfits that do different things with these mini games. So you can just play as like a kid that plays in her room,
I
right?
wouldn't.
And stuff like that. I just would forego the entire fucking story.
I won't get rid of the story. I mean, I would just make it tighter and give each character some meaning.
That's also possible. That's possible too. Like, it depends on what direction you want to go with it, of course. But like, if I made this, I would have made it like more like a single player kind of Mario Party kind of thing.
Or in the beginning, you know, like when the two people are talking, like they're looking at the stars, you could be telling the story to like a really actual fairy tale story to like a little sister or something, you know, like to a brother, you know, like a bedtime story.
Yep. And then you could have like narrator moments where the sister says something like, and then she found this armor outfit and now she could do this and that.
I like that. Yes, that will work.
That could work too.
That would work. Matter of fact, I think Doom and Destiny does it like that. You know, they got the narration like you're playing like Dungeons and Dragons, you know.
Yeah, there's many different directions you could go with it. Like, this are just two examples. Like, I would do the mini game. Like, it looks to me like you're clearly intended to have a lot of mini games. Like, even the combat feels more like a mini game than like combat to me. So what I would have done is like this Mario Party kind of thing where you just play mini games all day long. And you unlock outfits, so the mini games play differently. So that could be one approach, or you could keep the story approach and make it more like a fairy tale told by the bigger sister, which has these outrageous, over-the-top explanations from her, where she all of a sudden gets like these superpowers from the outfits. That works too. Is a different approach.
I won't make it just a mini game.
It depends what you want to do. Like,
I played that one game, it was nothing but puzzle. I mean, it worked, but you gotta have a lot of different ideas for mini games to like actually.
It's a different genre of game essentially at that point, yeah. But it could work. Like, this is just one example of what could make it.
So you don't think combat need to be in this game?
Nah, I don't think so. The combat itself is not really a refined combat system where I go, oh my god, this is so cool. Like, it's front view, it looks boring. There's nothing really there in terms of like strategic skills and whatnot. So it's very bare bones. I don't think it belongs here. Not when the rest of the game is this weird journey and mini games. Like, the combat just feels out of place for me.
Okay, I mean that's actually pretty fair. That's actually pretty fair.
Oh my god, who would have thought? Yeah, I mean, we're like a child princess. Why are we even battling?
It would have been probably cool if it was kind of like a hide and chase game too. You know, like you're hiding. It's like you're in the castle, or you're trying to get to the castle. Then
rework the story to have less dialogue. Is nobody said that.
I mean, we want more. Like, you gotta have dialogue to tell the story.
We gotta have a better story, is what we're saying. We don't say less dialogue. Like, that's not what we said.
I ain't say that Harlequin is doing all the talk. Or this passionate gaming is doing all that talking. Not me. Don't let him put words in my mouth.
You said it too. Man.
Don't let him. He's saying we.
Oh,
it's
lying,
him.
Man.
It's him. I mean, he was just giving you ideas.
Different ideas.
Yeah.
Like my idea, because your game has a lot of mini games. Is that's what I feel about your game. It's like you have one mini game after another, but the story doesn't tie it all together to a coherent thing. It's just a whole bunch of random shit happening that make no sense. So what I'm saying is, you can either tighten up the story so it actually makes fucking sense what's happening, or if you just want to keep this core idea of having a whole bunch of mini games that don't necessarily tie into each other, combined with like outfits and different abilities with those outfits, what you could do is having like some kind of setup that's kind of like Mario Party, right? Where you just go around the board and you just play mini games. The mini games don't relate to each other, right? It's just a bunch of mini games. They don't tie into each other or anything. They're not connected by a story or something like that.
But they're not trying to make mini games, my guy. They're trying to tell a story about a princess don't need saving.
But that's not what it is.
That's what they're trying to do.
It's just mini games and nothing else. There is no story. There are no compelling characters. There's nothing of that in there.
He got the ability to enter people's dreams. Clearly she's dreaming right now, and he can enter dreams. Yeah, he clearly says that. What you mean? That's part of the story.
Yeah, but there's no story. The only thing we know is that this guy is working for the opposing kingdom, and that's it. He can enter people's dreams, and that's it. That's the most story we got in the entire game.
Oh, man.
This is not a story game. It's not being carried by any story. Clearly not. Like 90% of what you're doing is mini games and reading text. So you can make it a story game, sure. You can do it, or you cannot. Like, it's just different approaches. Like, my idea would be leaning into the mini games. The seventh idea would be make it a story game regardless, but you have to have a better story for that. It's just different approaches, different ideas you can or cannot use.
That's a good idea, DJ King. DJ King said you could tell a story at the beginning of the board game in between mini games.
Exactly. Like, you can still have a story, but when you do the board game approach, the story is less important, right? It's just there to kind of wrap it all up, to give it a setup, a premise.
Board game would be boring, especially with one person playing.
I mean, it depends on how you set it up. Ultimately, like, it could be with NPCs and you're programming an AI or something, or it could just be a princess playing in her room doing stuff while daddy is busy having a war meeting or whatever. Like, you can set it up however you want. It doesn't have to be boring. It's just one approach. You can also make it a proper RPG and give us level up systems and whatnot. You can go wherever you want with it. But what you have right now is a whole bunch of nothing. Right? It's just a whole bunch of mini games and ideas thrown into a project, and it's not really tied together by anything. So what we're doing is just giving you different ideas that could tie it together. Whether or not you use it, it's up to you.
Yeah, it's up to you. Like, everything of us is what we're saying is just our opinion.
I'm also not saying make a literal board game. It's just an idea.
Just giving you different options.
Yeah, I'm not saying make a literal board game. It could just be a text like, "Oh, I'm going to play a board game right now," and then there is no actual board game. You just pick a mini game to play or whatever. Or you make it an actual board game. That works too. Like whatever the fuck you want to do. It's just an idea. Don't take everything so literally.
Look at this guy cussing at children. That don't make no sense. What this guy is doing, guys, I do not approve, nor am I giving, condoning to that type of behavior. I am sorry, YouTube. We love the children. We don't, that's.
Are you sure you want to say that on the internet that you love children?
Oh
Man, you putting yourself on a list here, man.
Oh man. Gotta be more careful, boy.
Man. It's just different ideas. Whether or not you want to use them or you want to wherever you want to take your game. Right now, to me, it just feels like somebody experimenting with the engine, right? Like just figuring out how to do different things. That's what this game feels to me. It doesn't make a lot of sense story-wise. It doesn't really fit together. It's just somebody sitting down and thinking, how could I make a boulder puzzle? And then you went and made a boulder puzzle, and then you went, how could I make like a bullet hell? And then you went and made that. Right? It's just a whole bunch of ideas thrown in there with no really coherent setup or premise or story. That's how this game feels to me.
Is it not a bad game?
It's not a game at all, I feel like. It's not really a game, it's just a catalog of ideas.
Like, what if it was this kind of game?
It's just somebody experimenting, like a new guy, right? It's like you starting out, you make your first project and you just make things. Like they don't make sense, they don't tie into each other. There's not really a story that ties it together. It's just you making stuff. And that's exactly what this game feels playing to me. It's just somebody just made things.
So the developer wanted to know, how was your experience and maybe potential player? Was you having fun playing this?
No. I did not have fun playing this.
Oh my god, this guy.
As I said, like each individual like idea you had here is not inherently bad. Like I'm not saying the bullet hell was inherently bad, but it was poorly made, right? Because when you play like a bullet hell game or like what's that SNES game called where you do this side-scrolling shooter thing? Like one of them is Parodius, but there's an original version.
Gradius.
Exactly.
That's my game, man.
I mean, when you play a game like this, there's always a pattern to it, right? The enemies spawn in and they fly in a specific pattern and they shoot in a specific pattern. So you can actually, there's spots in those bullets where you can avoid being hit. That's not the case here. The boss fight with the bullet hell is just so many bullets, you cannot possibly dodge it all because they're shooting from all sides and all simultaneously, always aimed directly at you. So they're not just shooting randomly and you're flying around dodging left and right. That's not what happens. You just made it so you have enough HP to tank the occasional hit. And that's not a fun design. That makes sense. And you didn't design it in a way where I can be skilled enough to dodge it. It's not possible. It's literally impossible to dodge all the bullets. So you just gave the player enough HP so they can dodge. They can just tank.
I think Nerd Mansion died. I think Nerd Mansion died a lot of times at that part, if I ain't mistaken. He got put in a situation where it was hard for him to. Was it that game or was it? Could have been Bim Lounge's game. I know one point he was dying a lot.
The Nerd Mansion games, the Mega Noble, you could dodge everything.
Yeah.
Like there was always a pattern to it. Right? Every boss fight had a pattern.
Yeah, you get a perfect run in that game if you dedicate yourself. Yep.
Exactly, but that's not how the bullet hell level works in Labyrinth's game. It's just you're just tanky enough that so long as you avoid getting hit constantly, you're gonna win. It's not a skill-based game. It's just fly around and not get hit all the time, and you're gonna win. It's not rewarding. It's more frustrating than anything. But yeah, what can I say? Like you can take a look at like Gradius or Parodius and stuff like that, or you can check out actual bullet hell games like Enter the Gungeon, for example. Like take a look at the boss fights. They never just shoot at the player like your game does. Like all the events just shoot directly at the player. That's never what happens in a bullet hell game. Like the regular enemies and most of the things are aimed at the player, but they also have just these widespread AoE bullets fly everywhere kind of stuff. That's what a bullet hell game does. And you have abilities to dodge and not just run into bullets all the time. Like there's more to it than just shooting a bunch of bullets at the player. But that's very advanced stuff, so I don't know. It depends on where you want to take this game. Like right now, I feel there is no real direction. It could go either way. Like you could make it a board game, you could make it a real RPG with level up systems and skills and whatnot, or you could make it a very story based game where it's just mini games and cutscenes. Right? It's like minigame cutscene could also work. It's like you could go anywhere with this. It's up to you, really. It's just like gotta decide for yourself. End of the day.
Yeah.
Category mapping. The mapping is unimpressive.
I think we already spoke about the mapping. He felt like the mapping just stood out from like the actual sprites, which
yeah, I mean we didn't really say anything about like the mapping itself, like how well designed the maps were, because there's nothing really to talk about. Like it's just the maps are tiny. Most of the time it's just one hallway. Like the prison is just you go up, you go down, you go back up, and you go back down. It's like it's not a map.
What about the cave?
Yeah, that's the only map, really. Like the only map that's a map is maybe the cave, but even the cave just has one path. It's like you go left, you go up, and that's it. It's not really a cave. You're not exploring anything. Like the game is super on rails, right? There is no going off the beaten path or anything. There's no exploration. There's no... You can't go anywhere other than forward. So there's not really any mapping that can be judged here.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, everything that...
I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just giving you my opinion on what it is. You have to decide for yourself what your game is. There's no point in you making the maps bigger and adding exploration if that's not what your game needs. You gotta decide that for yourself. I'm not suggesting anything.
I guess he's not suggesting anything.
Yeah, it's like you gotta know that for yourself. If you're making a regular RPG, then the maps are bad because it's too on rails. I have zero exploration. But if you're not trying to make a regular RPG, then you don't need explorations. So I can't make a suggestion because your game has no direction. It's just a bunch of mini games with no story. So what am I even supposed to suggest? Right? I don't know what you're trying to do with your game, and you don't know yourself, it looks like. Because when people ask you, like, what's your target audience? What's your end goal with this? Your answer is to finish it, but that's not the question.
And plus, I agree with Hawkins. It wasn't really much to look at in terms of exploring. Like, it was just pretty much a parallax background, and you walking over a bridge. That's the scene. Just like this part, you got the prison. Even in the castle wall, it's like you're outside of a room and there's a whole bunch of statues. It's just one place to go. It's really hard to, can't really say, oh, the space too open, or I think you need to like add this and that there. It's not really much to give in the feedback because player explorations wasn't really any.
But it didn't need any either, right? So it's just an on-rails go from one mini game to another. That's what the game currently is.
Yeah.
So we don't need exploration because there's nothing that would need exploration.
Yeah, and plus we're not fighting, we're not getting gold, so that's
exactly.
not applying.
It's not an RPG, really, right? It's not really a regular RPG. So what's there to say? Like, if I had to judge it from the looks alone, like, this is not a prison, like, right? It was just, there are no cells. It's not a dungeon. It's just one hallway with stairs. It's not a prison. There's a single cell. How is this a prison? Right? But for the purpose, it was okay enough, right? It's just a place to connect the boss to. That's what it is. Like, it's nothing great to look at, but it serves its purpose, and it's not like you're being there for an hour. You just go there, kill the boss, and get out of there, right? So it's all right for what it does. So what am I supposed to really judge here? From a realistic standpoint, it's not a prison because it's a single cell. There's no guards. There's nothing there. It's just a hallway and a single cell. It's not a prison. Right? The castle, from a realism standpoint, it's not a castle. It's just a hallway with a whole bunch of fucking statues and nothing else. But it serves its purpose once again. It's on rails. It's just there to transfer the player from point A to point B. That's what it is.
Yeah.
There's nothing more to it. And maybe it doesn't need to be more. That depends on where you want to go with the game. Hey, these are all things you have to ask yourself. Like, we cannot tell you what to do with this game. We can just give you what we felt playing the game. Like, for me, as I said, it's just somebody experimenting with the engine. That's what this game feels to me. Like, there's no real game here. It's just a bunch of random stuff thrown together, and that's it. So if you wanna make it a real game, you gotta add more to it, like either story or have a different setup. Maybe make it a real RPG with loot and XP and gear and skills. I don't know. That's completely up to you and what you want to achieve with the game. Nobody can tell you that, neither me nor D7.
Yep. You gotta do it for yourself. Now, if you're aiming for a casual gamer, it's going to be hard even with this setup because casual gamer who picks a RPG is going to be expecting a little bit more, in terms of, the balance. You got to have a balance of everything. Have your balance of combat, have your balance of mini games in between. Maybe you need to do a mini game before you get to a new area or whatnot.
It could be anything. There is nothing here to really give a suggestion as to where to go with it, because right now there is nothing. It's just a bunch of mini games. It could go anywhere.
This is something that my nieces and nephews will play and enjoy.
Yeah, a kid could pick this up and they would just be like, "Oh, cool! I'm a fairy flying around now, dodging all these bullets." But I don't see anyone aside from little kids playing this. Nobody.
But hardcore gamers, those who are, who are born playing games like Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy, Lufia, it's going to be kind of hard to win over those players, and and rest assured, those hardcore players are looking for RPG Maker games to play, because RPG Maker MV, and it brings them back to that area, to that nostalgia area where they want to look for games. Now, if they run into a game like this, it's cool, but as of now, this game feels like a jam game. Like if it was a jam game and it has like a topic saying like, create like a short mini game and stuff like that, this would be perfect. This would have been a perfect jam game. But for a person to choose and to play over, I mean, to be honest, I probably would play this if I just ran into it and didn't have nothing else to do.
Which is not really happening.
I'm just being honest.
You say that, but realistically, these days, when does anybody ever have that moment anymore where they have literally nothing else to do?
I probably have like probably less than 5 hours to game each day, if I can get that.
You are busy with work and family and whatnot, and then you got all these real games to play. So when does it ever happen where you're just going, I'm gonna play this thing? It doesn't happen.
And to be honest, I like RPGs, grew up RPGs, so that's why I forced
it's just it's just the footage repeating, because we're being live for almost 2 hours, but your game is only 15 minutes, so the footage keeps repeating.
Yeah. And I noticed, people coming in and out, they probably ain't seen the game footage of the game, or it gives people something to see instead of just looking at maybe the stars in the background, even though it's repeating itself, which is okay. It's okay. It's a short game, but we made it work, getting at least 2 hours of discussion in. That's the beauty, because I remember when I live streamed this game, it took me 1 hour and 35, because there's a lot of filler moments. When you live stream, you're talking and you're doing that, so that's how we are able to stretch it. But in all fairness, this game been on the wheel for so long, and
it's not a criticism. I'm just saying, like, that's the reason why the footage keeps repeating, is just because the game is so short that it doesn't fill 2 hours, so that's why it's repeating. It's not a criticism point or anything. Like, this game was posted before the rules existed, so nobody is saying anything against that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're all Gucci. But I mean, but there is, even though the game doesn't have much, like, in terms of gameplay wise, like, it's a short demo, 30 minutes, 20 minutes tops, depends, how, if you're reading or not, you speed run, you could do this probably like 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think I took like I don't know how long is the footage I sent you. Let me check.
No clue.
I have it on my desktop anyway. So I completed this game in 30 minutes.
Yeah, you at 29:53.
Yes, so 30 minutes is like the playtime of your game.
Yeah.
For someone like me.
Yeah.
Speaking of demo though, a thing I can recommend to you is like really think about what you want to make this game. Like, what is it supposed to be? Like, what genre? Is it supposed to be a regular, like, classic RPG? Or is it more like a storytelling with some mini games here and there to add some gameplay? So maybe it's more like a visual novel and you're just playing mini games in between, or whatever game you want it to be. Like, think about it and think about it long and hard, and once you nailed it down what you want your game to be, then go in that direction and do your research. Like, if you say, all right, I want to make this a JRPG, that's okay, you can do that. Then do your research. What makes a JRPG? What are the cornerstones of what makes a JRPG fun? Like, what are the ingredients you need to tie it all together with your ideas you're having, right? It's like you're missing like the essential part of your game's identity. Like, what is this game? What is this supposed to be? It's not an RPG because we're not really getting any skills, we're not fighting anything, we're not defeating an evil kingdom or anything. Like, there's little story, so it's not really a RPG. It's not really a storytelling game because there's not much story to go off of. It's not, I don't know, it's not a bullet hell game because there's only one mini game that is like a bullet hell. So what is this game? Like, what genre is this game supposed to be? Right now it's just a whole bunch of stuff from different genres that are not tied together by anything. So that's the first thing I would do, is like really decide for yourself, what is this game supposed to be? What are you trying to accomplish here? Like RPG, JRPG, I don't know, whatever you want to do with it. Like, you have to decide and then go in that direction and do your research as to what you need to make this a fun game for people that like that genre of game you're making.
Yep. You gotta go back to the drawing board and figure that out. I mean,
yep, because right now it's just a whole bunch of things.
And
right?
I noticed the other game, your new game, Lily's drawing is like the characters, like the style's the same, the characters, it's like they're in the same universe. That's what it looks like. And you got this hooded guy. So maybe you could tie in, it could be like mini series or something.
Yeah, could be too. It's like, but you gotta decide that, right? You gotta sit down and think about it. What is it you're trying to make? Are you trying to make a game, or are you just making things, right? Because that's what the game currently is. It's just you making all kinds of different things, figuring stuff out in the engine, like, how do I do this, how do I do that, and then you just make these things, but it's not a coherent game. That's not what it is. So, as I said, first thing I would do, figure out what the heck you want to make exactly, and then do research what makes this genre you're trying to make good. Like, what's the things that people enjoy about these games? Like, what are the things that make RPGs fun? Why do people like D7 like RPGs? Right? What makes it fun for them? What's the essentials of this genre? and whatnot. And once you got that figured out, you have a basis for your game. Like RPGs always have like mini games. They have fishing and puzzles and whatnot, but that's just a little part. That's not what makes RPGs. But once you figure that out, it's easier for you to know what to do next.
Facts. You mean the newer game would fit those ass? I mean, it looks the same.
It's your art style. Of course, the sprite look the same because you made the sprites just like you made these sprites. Like,
but certain characters, they look like they, it kind of look like it's tied into the same game we just played. It's just in black and white.
Yeah, it just looks wise though. I wouldn't hang myself up on that. Like you're not at any point where you would consider making a mini series. Like figure out what you want to do with one game before you make multiples.
Lord. I was just trying to give some encouragement.
I'm not criticizing you here. It's just wrong priorities on Labyrinth's part.
It's all love and stuff, but we start off like I'm impressed for your age, your at least, but
you don't know their age though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They could be 60 years old. You all right?
We don't know. It just looked to us.
You all right?
They may be young, but we don't know.
Until I see them live, I can only assume they are telling the truth. They won't lie to Uncle D7.
Yes, we don't know. So assuming Labyrinth is a very young person, the thing I could be impressed with is that I found no bugs. So every event worked. I didn't have any crashes or whatnot. So that's relatively impressive, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, like the game itself is not really impressive or a game really. As I said, you gotta nail those basics first and those essentials before I would call this a game.
So this isn't a game. This is like
I don't think this is a game.
Like a tech demo. That's what you're saying.
It's not even a tech demo. It's just
a proof of concept.
Somebody just making random things, like figuring out the engine. That's what this game is.
A plug-in tester.
No, I don't think there's a name for it. It's like the thing that other people do. Like when you're starting out with RPG Maker, you're just making Project 1 and you just make things. Like you have no idea. Like this game is never gonna be released. It's just you making things. You design boss encounters and you design mini games and all kinds of random stuff, and that's just all in your Project 1. You're never releasing that. It's just you learning the engine and you learning how to event stuff and you learning how to configure plugins and everything. And that's what this game is. This game is somebody's Project 1 where they just made things. It's not a tech demo of anything. It's not a game of anything. It's just somebody made a whole bunch of things they had ideas for. That's what it feels like to me. Like they sat down and they thought to themselves, man, it would be cool if the player sprite would change when they changed their outfit. And then they went online and then they figured out how they could do that. And then they put it in there. And then they sat down and said, man, how could I do a boulder puzzle? And then they went online and they Googled how to do that. And then they put it in the game. Then they asked themselves, how could I make a bullet hell thing? And then they researched how to make that, and then they made it and put it in the game. Right? That's what this is. Just a whole bunch of stuff somebody had an idea for, and they tried to figure out how to do it.
Goodness gracious. So, just like everything that we say, if this game was a commercial project, How much will you pay for this game? Will you buy this game?
No, of course not.
Okay. I would keep this in the free category until you figure things out. Like, give us a story. Give us a reason why the player should care about why these princesses don't need to be saved. Because right now we have no clue of what we're doing. We're just going with the flow. We're just dodging these boulders, these bullet hells, and walking these pattern on the floor. We're just being told to do something without any type of player engagement on having a free will to do what they want to do, if that makes sense. I mean, this game could definitely be improved. I'm not sure if your other games are completed or they're just demos, or they could be just short games. I'm not really sure. Yes, babe. Oh, you are? Oh, okay. They're good? Okay. Alright. And Wandering Hana. Not sure if this is a short game. It's a demo. So these are demos. So it's like you're going from project to project. Project to project. Probably trying different engine, different tile sets. And nothing is concrete. So are the other games going to be just like the Princess game? We don't know. We haven't played it, but if they are, then you as a developer, have you evolved, or at least, tighten up in terms of capability of writing a story to engage potential players and to hook them in? Or is it just each game got different mini games, or could play the same way?
Looks like I nailed it. Like, from project to project, trying to different ideas to see what works. Yeah, that's exactly what it feels like. It's just a whole bunch of ideas thrown into a project. Like, I fucking nailed it.
So you got to ask yourself this: when you release these projects to the masses, it's how people's gonna look at your game. I'm one person, Harlequin's another person, then the Nerd Mansion is another person. You know what I mean? So, and in reality, who wants to hear the bad? Like, nobody want to hear nothing bad about their project, which is understandable. But if you don't hear the negative side of it, you're going to keep doing what you're doing, because all you're hearing is the good things about your game. So you're not hearing the constructive criticism to improve your game. So you're going to keep making the games the same way, because now you feel like that it works. But when you have more people on your game and playing your game, then you can see what you actually need to improve on, because as a developer, you automatically gonna think your game is all that and look good. Then when you get in the communities, and you give yourself known to other people, they may not want to hurt your feelings once they find out who you really are. Like, you come out to be a young person, and nobody want to hurt a young person. You know what I'm saying? Like, not a grown person do not want to hurt a child's feelings.
except for me.
You know, especially those with children. You know, we want to encourage. We want to, you know, keep that motivation going and not make you, you know, upset by telling you your game is trash or you need to scrap this and start over. Nobody wants to deliver those news to anybody. Me personally, I think the game has a lot. It could be improved greatly. I need more of a story, but you know, the quirkiness, like the comedy part, me personally, I ain't finding anything funny. But it is a game that could be enjoyed by a different type of group. You know, this could be a good game to, you know, to casual players, to, you know, certain players, because I see Riggy play games and Heroic play certain games, and the game, it plays not to my cup of tea, but to them, they enjoy it. So there's definitely players for your game. But I don't know. I haven't played. This is the only game I played for your game. But apparently what it looks like, if you go on your itch page, I can't really show the page, but if you go on your itch page, it looks like a kid's game. Like you got a tricycle, a slide. You know, it looks like a children's game. But your 3D horror game looks really good. You know, that's to a different audience. You know, these games are to different audience, and Wonder and Hana looks like it caters to like a Game Boy. It looks like a Game Boy Advance or Game Boy Color. So you definitely can cater to different age groups with your project, but I'm just speaking about this game in particular. You know, this is like a fairy tale game that most of the time maybe people who like princesses and fairies and evil wizards, they probably would pick this game up and give it a go. But as for me, it's not my kind of game. I'm just being honest. It's not my kind of game because I like games with action, leveling up, battles, grinding. You know, those are games that I like. This game is just, you know, the outfit change was cool. That was cute and all that. But, you know, that's what it is. The outfits change. It's an outfit change. Nothing more, nothing less. If that makes sense. You know, I mean, just like we say, you know, we're not here to hurt your feelings, or I know you probably was nervous about how people react to your game, especially how Harlequin, but I think he did a pretty good job, you know, explaining how he felt about your game and how you can improve it. All I heard was constructive criticism from his end. You know, he didn't really talk bad about your game. He just felt honest about it. So that's about it. I mean, I think we got as much as we could. My wife, she's going to the hospital right now. She's going to get checked out, and I'm going to go ahead and go on with my day and, you know, make sure the kids are okay. I don't want them to be by themselves in their condition. So once again, I mean, good job. I mean, keep grinding, keep improving, and keep getting feedback. Keep getting people to play your game and get honest feedback and see what they say. You know, if a lot of people are saying, "Oh, keep the game the way it is," then you know, as a developer, you know what you got to do. But you can't change your game. Whenever somebody say change your game, you got to have common sense to say, "Nah, I'm going to keep it the way I wanted to keep it," or just make changes. Or you're just gonna be making changes and stuff. He always give feedback. It's just his deliverance. People can't really. They don't really like. It's his delivery. People don't like. But it's not what you say. Sometimes it's how you say it. It's how you deliver it. It's what people don't like. So, yeah, just level up. Get your craft together. Me personally, I would like to see more story in this. Maybe more combat, more exploration, and give us meanings why we should care about this princess, and do we want her to be saved? That's the question you should give your player. Should I really want this princess to be saved? But right now, I really don't know why she should be saved. I just know there's this purple guy, this in the robe, is chasing us. I don't know. That's all I know.
I wouldn't mind saying this game sucks, but I don't think this project is at a stage where I would even call it a game yet. If that makes sense.
And
there's no game here for me to call trash, because this is just somebody trying out different ideas. And as I said, like, the ideas themselves are fine, but this is not a game anyone would pick up. And I said that, and that's what I always say. I don't see anyone play this game aside from maybe little kids. Because little kids, they don't have an understanding of story or anything anyway, so they're just gonna look at the pretty pictures and be like, oh, look, fucking elf now, or fairy or whatever. So
yeah,
it doesn't matter in that case, right? But anybody else, like anyone a little bit more grown up, is not gonna play this game.
A grown man ain't gonna really. Yeah, I agree.
Because there's nothing there. Like, I don't mind the childish look of the sprites or anything. I could deal with that, but there's nothing else here. It's just mini games and no story and nothing coherent. So it's not that it's not that I'm not saying it sucks. I still say that. I just say it differently, because it's not even a game yet, in my opinion. I can't say this game sucks because it's not even a game. That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Well, guys, I really hope y'all enjoyed this podcast. I think next time is Harlequin's pick. So he will be choosing the game to bring to the table next week to you guys. And like always, guys, tell your friends about us. Tell your friends about the Discord channel. Tell your friends about the YouTube channel. Just tell your friends, especially if they are developers and they do got games and they do want their games on the podcast, submit their games for them, or just invite them so they can submit it. But there are rules. The developer has to care about the game. There's plenty of rules. It's easy to understand rules, and no jam games. No jam games. But Harlequin should pick Red Genie. But Red Genie has a story. Red Genie has mechanics that can work. It's just the developer. I mean, I ain't gonna really talk about it because, I don't know. But I don't know. It's more of a genie thing. That's all. So Harlequin's gonna choose the game for next week, and He's going to record it, the video footage, and I guess that's it. That's all I gotta say, unless Harlequin got something to say before we get out of here.
I pretty much said everything, and you are busy and I'm busy, so let's get the heck out of here.
he got to go to work and make that money for his wife, or she gonna tell him to lay on the couch, which is a good place for him. He needs to sleep on the couch. He needs to sleep in his gaming chair or something. So. Alright guys, appreciate it. Y'all have a good one and see you later.